Welcome back. Planning on selling your home this year? Do you have questions? Harvey Blankfeld and Las Vegas Real Estate Now, who is sponsoring this segment, they have the answers. Welcome back, Harvey. Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks for having me back. Hey, listen, before we start,
Yes.
I got to say, I'm sorry I didn't bring any whiskey because you had champagne, you had beer.
Yep.
Whiskey would have been the trifecta. I'm sorry.
It's 3:40. We got 20 minutes.
All right,
You're a connected man. Make some calls.
I'll work on it.
What should I consider if I'm selling my home this year? What's the main thing I should consider?
Okay, always the consideration is sometimes it's time versus money because they're inversely proportional. The more time it takes, the more money you get sometimes. So you want to think about, do I want to sell to an iBuyer, an institutional buyer, one of those big companies that advertises on TV for an easy sale? Or do I want to take a more traditional method and get a bigger return, a bigger check at close of escrow? Those are two big questions you have to answer right off the bat.
Well, I want a bigger check.
Most people do.
Yeah, I want more money in my pocket.
Yeah, and they get confused. The iBuyers, the people who are out there selling, will tell you you're going to get market value, but it's not retail market value. It's wholesale market value. You're selling it to somebody who's going to sell it for profit. So they got to make some money somehow. So there's got to be a gap there.
Well, if someone's thinking about selling their home right now, should they sit on it a little bit longer? Is the prices, value still going up, or we've kind of plateaued?
Good question. You know, we're still going up. As a matter of fact, I just looked at the stats this week. The inventory dropped again. So we've got, it's a strong seller's market. It should continue to be so. But I don't know that a seller or a buyer should wait for market conditions because it's always about your own personal individual needs. If you need or want to sell now, go ahead and sell because you'll be able to take advantage of that on the buy. If you wait to sell for a bigger price down, you're going to pay a bigger price later on the buy also.
Okay. If someone's selling their home, do you have to be out by a certain date? Is there 30 days, 90 days? Can you write in the clause, like, listen, I want to sell my home, but I want to be in it until June? Can you do that?
The good news right now is you could write at least some extension. Now, some lenders don't like to go beyond 90 days, I believe, is a limit that they like to allow a seller to stay in home after close of escrow. But you can do that, and sometimes the buyer will let you stay there for free. Sometimes they want a per diem, a little bit of rent back because they're starting to pay mortgages and such. But absolutely, in a seller's market, you have a lot of leverage. So yeah, you can usually ask for those things.
So it's definitely still a seller's market.
Absolutely, no question about it.
What can someone do if they're planning on selling their home to kind of maximize their profits? What can they do if someone puts in a new backyard? Is the value of their home going to go up? What are certain things that they can do?
That's a great question. You watch all these TV shows and they spend a ton of money trying to improve their home for sale. I don't think you need to do all those things. You do some things. Make sure, first of all, the home is clean. Make sure it's decluttered. Make sure everything works in it. And make sure you have a good first impression. Make sure that curb appeal is there. You do those things and you're going to get maximum dollars.
Now, as you as a realtor and you go up to, I'm selling my home, and you pull up and you realize there's a couple things I could tweak, do you point that out and say, listen, maybe you should trim that grass before we...
Absolutely. When you hire me as your realtor, and you hire any good realtor, they're going to go through the home and tell you what they think you need to do to maximize your value and the impact on that value. Sometimes a coat of paint, although it might cost a few $1,000s, might return $10,000 in the sale price. So it depends upon the item in the house. Each deal is different.
The stories that I hear, people coming in from California and buying homes with cash, is that actually happening right now?
Absolutely happening. A lot of people from California, a lot of people from all over the country, but especially California. And yeah, there's a lot of cash purchases. More than 30% of our single-family home sales this past quarter were cash purchases. 30%, that's a lot.
Now, someone that's watching right now that's not in that, I don't know, that league of buying a home with cash and stuff, is there still hope for them to buy a house?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. You know, first of all, go to your lender first, get pre-approved.
Yes.
Get yourself a good, strong letter from your lender. The seller always wants the most money. So a cash buyer may have an advantage in terms of the terms of the loan, of the purchase, but even if you have a loan and you can offer them a little bit more money, that check at close of escrow is really important to sellers.
I love it. Harry, you're so informative. We appreciate it so much.
My pleasure. Always happy to be here.
Love it. Harvey, thank you so much. And thank you to Las Vegas Real Estate Now for sponsoring this segment. For more information, give them a call at 702-203-1165 or visit LasVegasRealEstateRadio.com. Jillian, over to you.